Here are my notes. Hello, family, friends, and fellow graduates. When I first got to college, I had this whole movie in my head. I imagined those late night study sessions that somehow turned into bonding moments. Instant best friends you meet on one day, and someone always having time to go to class, eat, sleep, work, and still have a social life. Yeah, that fantasy didn't last very long. By the end of my first week, I was already Googling how to survive college and wondering if anyone else was secretly struggling as much as I was. Everything felt new. New environment, new routine, new faces, and with all that came this constant pressure to already have it together, to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do with my life, and how I was going to balance everything without losing my mind. The truth is, I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I was just trying to find out where I belonged. And what I quickly realized is that college doesn't come with a manual. There's no college 101 how to handle life falling apart while writing a 5-page essay guide. No one tells you no one tells you that figuring out how to study is a whole journey in itself, or that some of the hardest lessons won't come from textbooks. They'll come from failure, disappointment, and those late nights where you're wondering if you're good enough to be here at all. There were times where I felt like I was falling behind mentally, emotionally, academically. I looked around and felt like everyone else was on track, and I was stuck in this cycle of overthinking and self-doubt. I questioned whether I made the right choice, whether I belonged, and if I was already cut out for this, and I was really cut out for this. But eventually, something started to shift. I stopped chasing perfection and started focusing on progress. I realized I didn't have to do it all alone. I learned how to study in a way that worked for me, and not just how everyone else did it. I figured out going to tutoring, showing up for office hours, and asking a friend for help didn't make me weak. It made me smarter, stronger, and more equipped to grow. Slowly, I found my rhythm. I had professors who believed in me, even when I wasn't so sure myself. I made friends who reminded me to breathe, to laugh, and to keep going. But most importantly, I learned how to believe in myself again. I stopped hiding my struggles and started embracing the growth they brought. So today, graduation isn't just a ceremony. It's not just a cap and gown or a walk across the stage. It's a symbol. It represents every time we kept going. It represents every time we kept going when it would have been easier to just quit. Every paper we pushed through, every test we thought we failed and wound up passing, every tear, every small victory, every late night panic that turned into a moment of clarity. Graduation means we made it, not because everything's perfect, but because we didn't give up. So if you're someone who's never felt like you didn't belong here, or like you weren't doing enough, or like someone else had it all figured out, this moment is for you too. You do belong. You are enough. And you didn't have to be flawless to get here. You just had to keep moving. And now here we are, ready to take the next step. We might not know exactly what the next step is, and that's completely fine. But what we do know is that we've already overcome so much. We've grown, we've changed, and we're stepping into the future with everything we learned, both in and out of the classroom. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the class of 2028.